With 7.4 million residents of various nationalities in a 1,104 square kilometer area, Hong Kong is one of the most densely populated territories in the world. With such a huge population, comes a huge airport and a huge airline. In this video I will take you through the past, present and future of Hong Kong's largest airline, Cathay Pacific. Hello everyone, this is Akiboy. In this video we will be exploring the airline Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific was founded on the 24th of September, 1946 by main co-founders Sidney H. de Canso and Roy C. Farrell. Both de Canso and Farrell were ex-Air Force pilots who had flown the Hump, a route over the Himalayan mountains. Farrell purchased the airline's first aircraft, a Douglas DC-3, nicknamed Betsy, at Bushfield, New York City in 1945. On Cathay Pacific's maiden voyage, de Canso and Peter Hoskins flew from Sydney to Hong Kong via Manila. The airline initially flew routes between Hong Kong, Sydney, Manila, Singapore, Shanghai, Saigon, Bangkok, with additional chartered destinations. The profitable business soon attracted attention from the Republic of China government officials, and after several instances where the company's planes were detained by authorities in Shanghai, on the 11th of May, 1946 the company relocated, flying its two planes to Hong Kong. Farrell and de Canso re-registered their business in Hong Kong on the 24th of September, 1946 as Cathay Pacific Airways Limited, while another sister company, the Roy Farrell Export-Import Company, Hong Kong Limited, was incorporated on the 28th of August, 1946 and chartered some flights from Cathay. They named the airline Cathay, the ancient name given to China, and Pacific because Farrell speculated that they would one day fly across the Pacific, which happened in the 1970s. The airline grew quickly. By 1947, it had added another 5 DC-3s and 2 Vickers Catalina seaplanes to its fleet. In the late 1940s, the Hong Kong government divided the local aviation market between Cathay Pacific and its only local competitor, Hong Kong Airways. Cathay Pacific was allocated routes to the south, including Southeast Asia and Australia, while Hong Kong Airways was allocated routes to the north, including mainland China, Korea, and Japan. The situation changed with the establishment of the People's Republic of China and the Korean War, which reduced the viability of the northern routes. In 1959, Cathay Pacific acquired Hong Kong Airways and became the dominant airline in Hong Kong. The airline thrived during the late 1950s and into the 1960s. Between 1962 and 1967, the airline recorded double-digit growth on average every year, and became one of the world's first airlines to operate international services to Fukuoka, Nagoya, and Osaka in Japan. In 1964, it carried its 1 millionth passenger and acquired its first jet engine aircraft, the Convair 880, and by 1967, it became an all-jet airline. In 1971, Cathay Pacific Airways received the first Boeing aircraft 707-320B. By 1972 it had 5 707s. In 1979, the airline acquired its first Boeing 747 and applied for traffic rights to fly to London in 1980, with the first flight taking place on 16th of July. Expansion continued into the 1980s. In 1982, Cathay Pacific Airways introduced Cathay Pacific Cargo, which is now named Cathay Cargo. It provided cargo service to initiate the trend of Hong Kong becoming one of the largest re-export trading ports of the world. On the 15th of May, 1986, the airline officially went public and was listed in the main board of the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong. In the mid-1990s the airline began a fleet replacement program, which cost a total of $9 billion. On the 21st of May, 1998, Cathay Pacific took the first delivery of the Boeing 777-300 at a ceremony in Everett, and on the 21st of September, 1998, Cathay Pacific, together with American Airlines, British Airways, Canadian Airlines, and Qantas, co-founded One World Airline Alliance. In 2010, the airline set a record high profit, amounting to $14.05 billion despite record losses set in the same decade. At the same time, Cathay Pacific had taken delivery of several new aircraft types, including the Airbus A330-300 and Boeing 777-300ER. On the 8th of October, 2016, Cathay Pacific retired their last passenger Boeing 747 with a farewell scenic flight around Hong Kong, after over 35 years of service of the type. Cathay operated the 747 since August 1979, when it was inaugurated on services to Australia. The COVID-19 pandemic led to travel bans and significantly reduced flight demands, which caused Cathay Pacific to cut international flights in response. In 2020, 96% of all flights from March to May were cancelled, while the group subsidiary HK Express suspended all flight operations from the 23rd of March to the 30th of April, 2020, due to reduced demand. At one point during the crisis, only 582 passengers flew with Cathay Pacific in an entire day. Unfortunately, in 2021, the company posted a record annual loss of $2.8 billion for 2020. It was also announced that the company would cut an additional 8,500 jobs. On April 22, 2021, the company began its job cuts by closing its Canada pilot base. On the same day, they began consultation with pilots at their Australia and New Zealand pilot bases regarding base closure in those jurisdictions. Pilots with the right to live and work in Hong Kong would be offered employment, however those without the right to live and work in Hong Kong would face redundancy. On the same day, the company announced that they would review its bases in Europe and the USA later in the year. On May 12, 2021, the company announced the closing of its Frankfurt pilot base. Around 50 pilots' jobs were at risk, as with the Canada base closing announced 2.5 weeks earlier. From December 2023 to January 2024, the airline had to trim its schedules by an average of 12 flights per day, through to the end of February to avoid significant flight cancellations over the peak Chinese Lunar New Year period. The preemptive decision comes as the airline grapples with a significant pilot shortage. The cancellations were mainly on routes with multiple daily services, allowing Cathay to transfer booked passengers onto same-day services. The carrier is also under some scrutiny in Hong Kong after a spate of flight cancellations since December 24, 2023, including 40 flights over 4 days. Cancellations peaked on January 7 when the airline axed 27 flights at short notice. After slashing its workforce during the COVID-19 pandemic, local news outlets say Cathay Pacific is now experiencing significant difficulties recruiting pilots, especially senior pilots. The Hong Kong Free Post outlet says Cathay only recruited 100 new pilots in 2023. Around 1,000 of the airline's 4,000 pilots were made redundant during the pandemic, while a further 1,000 resigned, effectively reducing Cathay's pilot pool by 50% over the period. As of now, Cathay Pacific's passenger fleet consists of 157 narrowbody and wide-body aircraft consisting of 12 A321neos, 42 A330-300s, 30 A350-900s, and 18 A350-1000s. As of the Boeing fleet, they have 17 777-300s and 38 777-300ER. Their current aircraft orders consist of 8 A320neo aircrafts, 28 more A321neos, and 21 777-9 aircraft. As of their cargo fleet, they operate 6 747-400ER F aircraft and 14 777-8 freighters. They also have orders for 6 A350 freighters with 20 options. As a conclusion, Cathay Pacific has gone through 76 years of flying and now serves 88 different destinations around the world, with 177 cargo and passenger planes. If you found this video informative, please consider to like and subscribe and comment any video idea you would like me to make.